Hey guys, it's Stacy with Handmade by Stacy J. I am so excited about this new release that's coming out. It's the Paislee Baby Blanket. So this is a beautiful, easy blanket to do. I designed it just 2 months ago for a little girl named Paislee that was just born, and now I'm making one for a little boy. So this blanket will also have a video of an elephant that I'm going to be uploading within a couple of days. I'm currently working on it right now, so you can see that. But this is very beginner friendly. It uses in the body just the single crochet and double crochet and a chain. The border just uses a half double crochet and a back post half double crochet. So it's very beginner friendly. So if you like, please subscribe so you can know when the elephant comes out. Otherwise, let's just get started. Thank you. To start the Paislee Baby Blanket, you're going to need a few items. So our supplies needed are scissors, a tapestry needle for weaving in the ends, and I used 2 different crochet hooks. I used the G+ 4.5 for the body of the blanket, and for the border I go up to the H hook. Now for the yarn, I used the Baby Bee Sweet Delight prints in the color Gauge Boy. I used 3.5 skeins of this. And then for the border, I used the Soft and Sleek Baby Low Pill Fiber in the color Flannel. And you only need about 1/3 of a skein for these. These do not require a whole lot of yarn. I also used the Stork Struck Baby's Blue, and again, maybe 1/3 of a skein, not very much. And the same with the green, which is the Mint Charm. Now keep in mind, when I got this yarn, it's while we were in quarantine, and we still are as I'm filming this, so I was limited by what I could find online. I absolutely love working with the Baby Bee baby yarn because it's just so soft and so lovely. But for the border, I couldn't seem to find in any colors the same weight. So these are just a slight bit heavier, whereas this is a 3 weight, these are a 4 weight. But they all worked out perfectly because it was for the border. And I was really happy with it. If you'd like to keep with the same weight throughout, that's totally fine. In fact, I'd probably recommend that. But if you're only going to go up just a little bit, I think you'll be okay. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we get started, you may want to head over to the website at www.handmadebystacyj to snag a copy of the pattern. With the pattern, you'll get a handy checklist, and this is going to make your life so easy. So this way you're not having to count a bunch of rows, because you simply just check them off as you're done. So I try to include these with all the patterns that I design, but I just find that they make my life so much easier, and I'm hoping that it helps with you as well. To begin with the blanket, we're going to start with the body. Now, the body can be adjusted in size by working in multiples of 3 plus 2, and then you add 1 for the base chain. So for this blanket, I'm going to chain 189. I'm going to start with my slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 189. And I'll meet you after I get to the end of this chain. I've finished chaining my 189, and you'll notice that here on my chain I have little stitch markers all throughout. Well, these stitch markers make it very easy for me to be able to keep track of where I'm at if, say, one of the kids comes in or one of my dogs wants, a little bit of hugging and petting. So what I do is I put a stitch marker in starting at the very beginning. I go up at 50 stitches and I put in a stitch marker, and I do them every 50 stitches. So like, say I'm this far, I'm at this point, and then somebody comes at the door or something. Well, then I don't have to go back and count 150 stitches because they're already tracked for me. So that's just a little tip of something that I do. But now let's move forward on the body. So our first step is that we are going to skip 2 chains. So we're going to skip these 2 chains. That's going to count as a single crochet. Then in the next one, we're going to work 1 single crochet, a chain 1, and a double crochet into that next chain. So 1, 2 in this one. I like to work under both loops. That's my preference. It's, you know, totally up to you how you prefer to do it. So we're doing a 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, all in the same stitch. Then we're going to skip 2 chains, and then we're going to do the same thing again. So skipping 1, 2, then in this one we're going to work 1 single crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet. And this is your pattern repeat for going down this chain. So I'll go over this one more time for you. So we're going to skip 2, we'll do a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Skip 2, do a single crochet in the next chain, chain 1, double crochet. And you'll want to continue doing this until you get to the last chain, and I will meet you there. I'm coming up towards the end of the chains, and in that last one, so you're going to skip those 2, but you're not going to do a cluster right here. Instead, all you're going to do is a single crochet. And then this is what it should be looking like. There we go. I was waiting for the camera to focus there. So now you should have a nice little bit of stitches. And now we're going to turn and start row 2. Now before you start row 2, if you're going with the same size that I am, you should have 62 clusters. And that's what I'm calling these little guys right here, just little clusters. So you should have 62 of those. And I will meet you for row 2. For row 2, we're going to begin with a chain 2. Now we're going to skip this single crochet, skip this double crochet, and we're going to work in that chain space that you created on the previous row. And we're only going to be working in the chain spaces throughout this row. So in this chain space, you're going to do a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Then you're going to skip this single, skip this double, and in that next chain space, you'll work a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. So skip, skip, find that space. And actually, once you've done this a few times, you will just automatically just find that space. It'll be really easy. So you do your single, chain 1, and a double. And then we find that chain space, do a single, chain 1, and a double. And you'll just continue doing this all the way down, and I will meet you at the end of this row. I'm coming to the end of row 2, and in this last cluster here, you'll work in that chain space just like the others. A single, a chain 1, and a double. Now at the very end, in this space right here, I go underneath this loop that's right there. I'm going to work a half double crochet. And then you turn your work. And now we'll start row 3. For row 3, we're going to begin by chaining 2. Then we're going to skip the half double crochet, skip the double crochet, and in this chain space right here, you're going to work your single, chain 1, and a double. Whoops. Then you're going to work just like you did the previous row. We're going to skip your single, skip your double, and then in that chain space, work your single, chain 1, and double. So you're going to just continue working this repeat of the single, chain one, double in those chain spaces across this row. And I'll meet you at the very end of this row to go over the last step before you begin the repeat for the blanket body. I'm coming to the end of row 3. I'm on my last cluster. Now when you get to the very end of it, you have your single and you have that chain 2. So what you're going to do is a half double crochet in the top of that chain 2. And then that's it. So you'll continue repeating row 3 until it measures 28 inches. Or if you go to the website, because I calculated it out when I did this the first time, it was a total of 100 rows. So you'll repeat row 3 97 more times. And then when you hit 100, I will meet you back here and we can work on the border. So I'm coming up to the end of my final row. I'm on row 100 right now and doing that last cluster and then that last half double crochet. Then I'm going to turn it, chain 1. And this is what I have. I love this blanket. I think it's just so pretty. So now that we have this, you know, it's beautiful as is, but let's spice it up with a border so it gives it that nice finishing edge. So let's get started on the border. You're going to work with the same yarn for this row and the row after it, and then we'll be changing colors. Now for the border, I'm actually going to go up a hook size. So for the border, I'm going to use the H hook or the 5.00 millimeter. So to start with the border, we did our chain 1. Now we're going to turn our work. And now that it's turned, that chain 1 does not count as a single crochet. But what we're going to do is in this corner right here, we're going to work 1 single crochet, then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to work 1 more single crochet in that. Now, to make our lives a little bit easier, we're going to grab a stitch marker. And we're going to put the stitch marker in that first single crochet. So right, whoops, where your single is right there, we're just going to mark it. This way we know where to join when we get to the end of this row. Now, we are going to work a single crochet across. And where you're going to put those single crochets is in the chain space and then in the next single crochet. Then in the chain space, in the single crochet. In the chain space, in the single crochet. And you'll continue doing this until you get to the corner, and I will meet you there. I'm coming up to the end of this first section. I'm putting in a single crochet in that last single crochet. Now, when you get to this corner space right here, actually, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see better. Okay, so this chain space right here, you're going to work a single crochet, chain 2, and another single crochet. And now I have a total of 126 single crochets down this side. So working down the other side now, you'll see that you have your sections where you had your half double crochet and your chains. So the way we're going to work the border is you're going to do a single crochet right in here and then another one here. But I'm going to show you how I do it so we don't get too big of gaps. there's one there. And instead of working in this top one right here, instead of this loop, I'm actually going to go down one notch just so that it feels a little more secure. And you'll see how it kind of grabs it right there. So let's do that again. One in the space, and then we're going to just not do it right here. We're going to go down one thread, and we'll do it right in there. And then we're just going to continue doing this down, and I will meet you at the next corner. I'm coming up to our second corner, so I'm going to work my single crochet there. And now this is where you come to the spot where you have your starting edge, you know, where you have your slip knot and you did your chain. So when you pull on that just a little bit, you'll see that you have one thread right here, that's like right in the middle. So we're going to do this corner just a tiny bit differently. So we're going to work one single crochet right here where the thread is to the left. I'm going to work a single crochet there. We're going to chain two. And then we're going to work on the other side of the thread and do our other corner single crochet. Now we're going to start down our other edge. So this is our third edge. And the way this is going to work is we're going to do a single crochet in the next one. And I'm not going to do it right here. I don't like having a stitch in just one thread. So I'm actually going to go underneath that. So between those two legs, and do a single crochet there. And then we'll go into the next space and do a single crochet there. And then here we are back to that little, the two legs. We go right between there and then back into that other space. And you'll simply do this all the way down this edge, and then I will meet you at the other corner. I'm coming up to my third corner, those last singles, and here we are coming up to the corner area. Now I'm going to work one single crochet here, and that's not actually the corner where we're going to work our single chain two single. We're going to work it right here. So it's going to be right next to that leg. So right as it starts to turn, right in there, we're going to work our single crochet, chain two, single crochet. And that should give you the same amount of stitches as on that first edge. Now we're back to working down the side again. And we're just going to continue like we did last time, where we're going to work one single crochet in that stitch, one single crochet in the space, and then one right here. Just remember to work it down a notch, just under that thread into that space. And then when you get to the very end, we're going to join where that stitch marker is. So I'll meet you down there here in just a couple of minutes. Now we're coming up to our stitch marker. So I'm going to do one last single crochet right down here. And now we're going to join where our stitch marker is. And we're just going to join with a slip stitch. So I'm going to join the slip stitch. We'll take this little guy out. And now what we're going to do with this is we are going to slip stitch into this chain two space. So where that chain two is, just do one more slip stitch. And then we're going to start our border round two. To start border round two, we're going to begin with a chain two. That's going to count as your half double crochet. Then you're going to chain one more and work a half double in that chain two space. Now you're going to work a half double crochet in all of your stitches across. Oops, yarn over. And that is all you're going to do on this round. So you will do a half double crochet all the way to the corner. And when you get to the corner, in that chain 2 space, you're going to work a half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet. And I will meet you at the end of this when we get back to this corner. Now, one thing you could do if you'd like, just to keep things easier, is you can grab that stitch marker that you were using and just, here's 1, here's 2, there's your chain 1. You can mark where that second chain is. That way it's saying, hey, here's where we're going to join. And I will meet you when we get to this point. So remember, in the corners, it's a half double, chain 1, half double crochet. And I will see you in just a little bit. I'm coming up to the end of border row number 2. And I have one more half double to do. Whoops. Got a little slickery there. All right, now we're going to join in that second chain where we did the chain 3 at the beginning of this row. And we're just going to join with a slip stitch. And then we're going to fasten off our yarn. So, find my scissors, fasten off. We'll remove this little guy. Now, moving forward, we are not going to be turning our work. We are just going to keep working around the border. So, now we join colors. And for mine, I'm going to be using the colors of blue, green, and gray. So I like to pick those colors because that's kind of what's in here. There isn't gray in here, but for my final blanket, I'm actually going to be putting an elephant on it. So I want the border to tie in with the applique that I'm doing. So if you are planning on adding any kind of an applique or anything like that, you might want to consider grabbing one of the colors that's a dominant color for that to add into your border. So let's get started on row 3 of the border. For row 3, we're going to begin by joining a new color with a standing single crochet in any of the chain 1 spaces with the right side facing you. So to do a standing single crochet, if you haven't done it before, you simply have your slip knot on your hook, you insert it in that chain 1 space, and then you work a single crochet just like that. That's all a standing single crochet is. Now we're going to do a chain 2, and then we're going to single crochet in that corner space again. Now for the rest of this row and all the way around, all you're going to do is a back post half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook around that post, pull it around, yarn over, go through 3. And this is going to give a wonderful texture to the border of your blanket. So you're just going to do a back post half double crochet all the way down to the corner, and I will meet you towards the end of this segment so I can go over the corner with you. I'm coming up to the corner, just finishing up these last couple back post half doubles. And when you get to your corner, you're simply going to do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And then you will work the back post half doubles all the way across. And this is what it looks like. So I really love this because it adds almost like a chain of the color that we're working with down here. And I just think it's gorgeous. I love it. I love the texture of it. So what you'll do for this row, and just go all the way around, working the back post half doubles around each of the half double posts from the row before. And in the corners, just work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And I will meet you when we get all the way back to where we started on this row. So I'll see you in just a little bit. I have 2 back post half doubles to do to complete this row. So I'm just finishing these up. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that standing single crochet. So you have your single crochet right here. So you're going to join right here to the top of it. And then you're going to work a slip stitch in that chain 2 space. That just moves you to where you're working back into the center of this. Then you're going to chain 2. That counts as a half double crochet. You're going to chain 1 more, so you start your half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet in that chain space. So you're going to do that half double, and this is your corners. Now you're just going to work a half double crochet across. Just work all the way across to the corner. And in the corners, you are going to do a half double crochet, chain 1, half double crochet. When you get to that end of that row to right here, I will meet you because we're just going to join with a slip stitch and then we're going to join a new color. I'm coming up to the end of our half double crochet row. 1 more stitch to go. And now I'm going to join it in our second chain. So 1, 2, we'll join right here with a slip stitch, and then we will fasten off. And here we go. So now you're starting to see this, and what we're going to do is we're going to repeat what we did with our blue with our next color. In my case, I'm actually going to connect it with gray. And so I'll get you started on this, but the next 4 rows are a repeat of exactly what we did with the blue. So we'll do 2 rows in gray, 2 rows in green. So I will get you started on this next row. For this next row, I'm going to join with gray in a corner chain space with a standing single crochet. Then we're going to chain 2 and work 1 more single crochet. Then we're going to do a back post half double crochet around the post of the half double you did in the row before. So back post half double crochet all down the edge, and when you get to the corners you will simply do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. I will meet you at the end of this row so we can get started on the next one. I'm coming up to the end of our back post half double crochet row. Only 2 more stitches remaining. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the top of that standing single crochet. Then we're going to slip stitch in that corner space. So that corner space where you have the single, chain 2, single, do a slip stitch in there to bring your work up to the center of that. And we're going to chain 2, standing as your half double crochet. And then we'll chain 1, and then we're going to work 1 half double crochet in that same space. And then we're just going to half double crochet around. And that's what you'll do for this border round. You'll just half double crochet in each of the stitches, and in the corners you'll do a half double, a chain 1, and another half double. And I'll meet you at the end of this row when we start another color. Coming up to the end of our half double crochet row in the gray, and we're just gonna end this by joining with a slip stitch in that second chain, so right here. And then we're going to fasten off. With the green, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did here with the gray. We're going to join in the corner with a standing single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then we're going to work a back post half double crochet around this edge. So I'll get you started on this row. We'll start with a slip knot. Then we'll go into our chain space and do a standing single crochet. Then we're going to chain 2 and another single crochet. Then we're going to work a back post half double crochet around the posts of the half doubles that you just did. And we're going to do that all the way around this row. I'm coming to the end of our back post half double crochet round for the green. And then we're going to join as we did in the other rounds with a slip stitch at the top of that standing single crochet. Then we're going to slip stitch into that chain space, and we're going to chain 2. Remember, that's your half double crochet. We'll chain 1 more and then work a half double in that chain space. Then you're going to work 1 half double in every stitch across. And in the corners, you'll do a half double, chain 1, half double. Then when you get to the end, you're going to join with a slip stitch on that second chain. And I will meet you here and we'll do our final 2 rows. Coming up to the end of the half double crochet row, I'm going to join with that slip stitch in the second chain. And I'm going to fasten off. Now we're on the home stretch. And what I'm going to do for this row is I'm going to bring back this main color. So this is what I'm going to use for the final border that goes around. And this is going to be worked in 2 rows. Our first row, we're going to work the back post half doubles just like we have in these previous rows. And then we're going to do something just a little bit different to bring in some fun texture for that final row of the border. So let's get started. I'm going to join in the chain space with a standing single crochet. Then I'm going to chain 2 and do another single crochet. Now I'm going to work a back post half double around all the posts from the previous row. And then in the corners, it'll just be a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So I will meet you at the end of this. I'll meet you right up here, and then we'll get started with our final row. I'm coming up on the last of my back post half double crochets. So last one. And then I'm going to join with a slip stitch into that first standing single crochet. Now let's start our final row. We're going to start our final row by doing a slip stitch in that chain space just to bring us up to the center of our chain spaces. Then we're going to chain 3. And that chain 3 is going to count as a double crochet and a chain 1. Then we're going to do a single crochet in that same chain space. Now we're going to skip a chain and we're going to start our repeat, and it's going to be like in the body of the blanket. only we're going to be skipping only one chain. So we're going to start with a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Then we're going to skip a stitch, and then in the next one we're going to do a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Then we're going to skip one and do a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And I'm sorry about the noise. My dog is trying to get comfortable for a nap right now. He's always in here when I'm making these videos. So we're going to skip one. In the next one, we're going to do a single, chain 1, double crochet. And you're just going to continue this all the way down. And the reason why we're only skipping one is because it fills it in a bit, but also it's more forgiving. So if you find that you're off a stitch, you can easily, fudge that just a little bit and it won't look obvious. So it is very forgiving this way. So I will meet you down at the first corner after I finish this first edge. So I'm coming up to the first corner. And I'm going to skip this stitch, and in this corner chain space, we're going to work a single, chain 1, and a double. Then we're going to do that same thing, only in reverse. So we're going to do a double, chain 1, and a single. Then we're going to skip a stitch, and in the next one, and the one to skip, it's called a hidden stitch, where it's the one that easily gets hidden. We're going to skip that, and in the next one, we're just going to work a single, a chain 1, and a double. And that's how you're going to work around this final border row. So you do singles, chain 1, double in every other stitch, and in the corners, you're going to do a single, chain 1, double, and then reverse that to be a double, chain 1, single. So I will meet you towards the end so I can show you how we can finish up that final corner. I'll see you in just a bit. All right, we're on the last step. So this is the beginning corner where we started with that chain 3. So what we're going to do is in that space, you'll do a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Then you're going to find that second chain, and you'll join with a slip stitch. Then we will fasten off, weave in our ends, and then this is our blanket. And I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so that you can see this. So this is what we have. Now if you want to add the elephant on, like what I'm going to be doing, I'm doing another video that will show how to do the elephant from start to finish. And well, I really hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you did, please subscribe. And I would love to see the blankets that you make. So if you do Instagram or anything like that, just tag HandmadeByStacyJ or put it in the comments. I hope you have a wonderful day and happy crocheting.